Hello YouTube, it is July 19, 2019, and I'm going to apologize in advance for the noise background. Mother Nature and her opportune time, and it's currently thunderstorming right now in North Carolina, so you might hear the occasional boom in the background. But anyways, I'm here to continue on with my new job at Pilgrims. I'm here to discuss the first 2 days of my new job. So with that being said, here we go. So first, let me start off by saying that this is not the call center job. If I might put this on both my personal channel and my personal channel and my business channel. So if you're looking at this on the personal channel, this is one of the rare job reviews that I'm giving y'all that is not, work from home. This is actually my thoughts on the actual plant located in Sanford, North Carolina. Now, Pilgrims is located in different countries and also throughout 12 different states in North Carolina, Mexico, and or Mexico for my Spanish-speaking people, and Canada. So with that being said, let's get on into it with the Sanford location. So first 2 days, I discussed in the last video, which I will leave down in the description box below if you didn't see it, how to go by the hiring process. What was the paperwork like? Paperwork, orientation was a week long. I go over all of that, what the questions that I was asked during the interview, all that good stuff. Now I'm going into after the interview, first day. I'm going in. I use my keychain to go through the thing. It's a little, just like in the subway where you use the key pass, and it'll let you, and it turns. I don't know what the official name for it is, but you go past that and then you go into the cafeteria area. On the left side, they had our gloves, our hair nets, we also have to wear earplugs when we're in. They got several different ones. The cheapest ones are the yellow ones, and I'll probably show y'all those in another video. I didn't think to have it right next to me. Also, you have your helmet, which is gold for the first 30 days. And I'll probably discuss the... matter of fact, I'll just go ahead and do a series on Pilgrims. Because just to go into the minuscule things such as what the helmet colors mean and all that, that's a video within itself. But yeah, they give you your helmet, they give you your earplugs because you got to have the earplugs going into the plant. Your white gloves, which you can change out at the laundry area every day for a clean new set. Once you go in, you're going to immediately wash your hands. Every time you go into the plant, there's a specific wash station where you wash your hands. And they have Dyson dryers. Not the hair dryer, although I would love to test that out for my beauty channel. But they have Dyson dryers where you put your hands into it and it dries your hands. So I think that's unique. They got Dyson hand dryers that dry your hands off within 20 seconds. And then you just get suited up and you go to your location. So I was on drum debone. So first day, I'm clueless as hell. Never, this is my first plant job ever in my life. First time ever touching chicken to this degree in my life. Y'all know a girl don't really touch chicken like that. I have made chicken recipes and stuff before, but usually, I've had some help with, people already cutting up the chicken and stuff for me. I never had actually touched chicken a day in my life. I know that sounds weird as a southern girl from North Carolina, but I've been fortunate not to have to touch no chicken. Honey, I quickly done made up for that shit. Honey, by the end of the day, I end up touching more chicken than the average person does in their whole life. So, with that being said, they get us up on this darn old table. Now, for me, they got to lower the thing down so I can step up on it. And I'm thinking that it's actually going to be a knife. But it's a wizard knife. And if I can find a picture of what a wizard knife looks like, I will annotate it somewhere around here. So you plug it into the machine, and it has this circular spinning thing, and you're literally deboning the chicken. I'm thinking, how in the world is this circle supposed to take out the chicken? I'm thinking like, it's supposed to take down the whole bone, but that's not the case. It's like little miniature bones in the chicken that it actually takes out the little white thing. Like it's already gone through the machine where the bone is no longer like a whole bone anymore. And if you somehow come across a drum that still has the whole bone attached throughout, you actually supposed to toss it over the line into the discard pile. Now, the ones you take off of the sides of the chicken, we have a section where we just scoop that into the trash bin, and it, transports it on the way, and then we toss the chicken that we done skinned off and stuff into a bin. And after every 16 pounds of chicken that you do, the machine opens up and it takes the chicken on down the line. So that's the pretty much a good description of where I'm at in the drum debone. You toss the finished chicken into a bin, and then you slide the other parts to the side. Everything is literally within like 4 inches of you within your station. So you're not, stretching all over the place. Everything's right there. First problem I get is, of course, I'm one of 2 left-handed people on the line. And so, of course, the machines, just like everything in life, honey, I've been suffering from this issue since I was in school. The scissors don't work with me. The darn desk don't work with me. Y'all know the little desk that we have in school? Even the desk is darn aligned to the right instead of the left. So everything for lefties have been awkward. So, of course, this ain't no different. All the darn machinery is set up for right-handed people on default. And they have to darn adjust my thing. Now, it would be my look that just similar to what happened during orientation when we did because we had to do drum deboning for a brief period of time when we was doing orientation. I forgot to say that during my orientation video, that during orientation week you will go out onto the floor. The first day you're just going to sit back for an hour or two and observe your position. Like you will be given, out of a selection, they will choose where you're going to go, and then you will go into the the area of where you're going to work, and you're going to look at the people, and literally you're standing there for 2 hours looking at what you're fixing to do. And then the next day they're actually going to put you on that line. So I've already had a touch of experience before coming in officially on that first day out of orientation, because they send you out on the line by every day during orientation. So we went out there twice out of our 4 days. Would have been 3 days, but of course we only had 4 days because of July 4th, and they celebrated it on that Friday. So the plant was off on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So with that being said, I only had 10 minutes to mess with it the first time because it took them so long to get my machine set up to the left because it was stuck, that by the time that I got situated, I only did like about 10-15 pieces of chicken, and it was time to go. Now I'm expected to do over 100 pieces of chicken a day. Okay, let's see how this is going to work. So I'm looking right. The first day they got me right next to an African woman. This was when I was on the other side. I'll mention the different sides in a moment. But I was on a side where there was a beautiful chocolate African woman. I don't know where she specifically was from in Africa. I'm going to say somewhere West South Africa. She wasn't East African. She was about my mother's complexion, Lupita Nyong'o, rich chocolate complexion, very strong accent, an accent of that caliber. I couldn't pick up her dialect, but definitely knew she wasn't East African by any means. Honey, I'm darn looking, and she just going through it easy, and here I am. I'm nervous to hold the thing. Now, fortunately, the team lead finally comes over and darn gives me a thorough demonstration of how this is supposed to work. So once we go through it, and this was what the problem was. The problem was I thought we was going to be doing drums only. This is something you should be aware of if you take drum debone. They will have you run breasts as well. For whatever reason, they do not run solely drums on drum debone. I was not made primitive to that when the decision, when they put me on drum debone. So I'm thinking I'm going for one thing, and I end up getting thighs. I keep confusing thighs with breasts. That shows you how much I know about chicken. So y'all might hear me make that mistake throughout this video, and that's very important to note, because breast debone is a whole nother section in the back, which I did work, but I will tell y'all about that section later. But on drum debone, you will run thighs at the same time as drums. So I had thighs, and I did not know how to do thighs at all, because we were taught drums during the orientation. Like I said, the first day we looked at the people for 2 hours, and then the second day we were doing drum deboning. Now you're telling me that I got to debone this darn on thigh, and that you have to hit the bone from the top and the bottom. Okay, they show you how to do the top and the bottom. Took me some time to get into that. She told me not to worry about the skin for the first week. Honey, what she tell me that for, honey? Once I darn gonna learn where them bones was at, I was starting to pick up a little bit. It took me half the time to get it there. But, you know, I managed to do it. Skin, I learned how to take it off later on that second day. Second day, I finally started learning how to. Now we're going into the second day. I was put on the front line with my girl. I managed to meet somebody out there, and it was a blessing for me, because my cousin ended up taking first shift, and he, you know, he does the live hanging. Live hanging is from 5 in the morning to 1 in the afternoon. Problem is, I'm second shift, 4 in the afternoon to 1:30 at night. So it worked out for me that somebody out there from my orientation, who also resides in Fayetteville, was in my exact same section on drum debone. Honey, we set up a ride sharing for her to come pick me up along with a couple other people. But the first 2 days, ironically, it was just the both of us that just went out there. And we got to know each other during those 2 days. So going into the second day, I'm on her side of the table this go round, and we start doing breasts again. It's more breasts throughout the whole day, and it's like, okay, let's get these breasts done. Now I'm starting to pick up the speed. I'm next to several East African women. This is the side that has the East African women, which I was more comfortable with. Not to say I wasn't comfortable with the West African woman. It's just the dialect. Like when she was trying to offer to help me, there was a language barrier, because the English, you know, when they're taught English, they're not taught our English. You know, I'm very Southern. I have a very distinctive accent. So it's like she's trying to pick up on my wording with my accent, because I don't speak, you know, the proper English. You know, I don't speak like British English. So it's like she's can't understand my dialect. I'm struggling to understand hers. As opposed to the other side, where it has the East African women that speak French. Now, fortunately for me, I speak French. So even though they was and they understood my English better, which was ironically weird. I would expect them to have more harder understanding, because when I think of East African, I would think they would have a harder time trying to pick up on a Southern accent versus somebody who's like Nigerian. But they actually understood me a little bit more better than, you know, the West African woman, ironically. But even the words that they didn't understand, I was able to understand them, and vice versa, you know, with the French. So that worked out good on that line. And, you know, I was picking up on my speed on the second day. I was able to check my pounds, and my second day, I managed to do 318 pounds of thighs. Now, you don't want to be nowhere near that low once you're out of your 60 days. The normal amount for thighs is, I think they said 1,000. 2,000 if you're doing breasts. You're supposed to do 2,000. You're supposed to be able to go through 2,000 pounds of chicken over a course of, you know, 8 hours. 2,000 pounds of breasts, which is in their own section. Now, we are a combination of drums and thighs. For thighs exclusively, you have to do like 1,000 to 1,200 pounds. For drums, which is where I'm assigned to technically, I'm supposed to do 800. So Even though they got thighs in our section, I'm only accountable up to 800 pounds of meat. So my very first second day, I did 318 pounds. Pretty good. Now going into the third day. Now I missed Wednesday. Wednesday would have been my third day, but Wednesday there was a car accident involving myself, and then there was, you know, some issues with my ride anyway, so I wouldn't have been able to make it due to emergency that she had going on in her life anyway. But it, you know, I wouldn't have gone anyway because of, you know, like I said, a car accident that Wednesday. The story of my darn gone life, honey. So I had to call off. Thursday, come in. Third day on the job. Was it my third day? Monday, Tuesday. Yeah, I think I worked 4 days that week. Did I? Why it seemed like I only worked? Wait a minute, something ain't right. Okay, now I know why my hours are off. Okay, I get into that in the third video. I was wondering, like, I worked 4 days, but why I only got 27 hours? I get into that in another video. But third day, we finally got drums. This is what I'm assigned to. But in between time though. The second day, let's stay on the second day. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but that's how this job had me for a moment. So second day though, in addition to doing a combination of drums and thighs, we also got switched out to different sections throughout the plant. Like, we were relievers, and what a reliever is when the other side of the plant goes on to break, we go and fill in for the stuff that they had left. So that's why she was still impressed that, you know, by this being my second day, I did 318 pounds worth of meat. But it's not like we worked the full 6 hours in that line. It's like maybe I say that was 100 pounds an hour, because, you know, I would say we were there on the actual, you know, thigh deboning for like 3 hours, because we had to relieve saddle pack. I think that's saddle pack. No, tray packing. Tray packing is this area where you are being put in front of a machine. Like, it's a line in front of you. I'm at 6'1". This doggone thing is like at 5 feet. And I got to bend down along with several other people on the line, and you're putting random assortments of chicken into the tray. Make sure it's filled, you know, not filled overly to the top. And there's a series of trays coming down. Now, you along with 6 people on either side, for a total about 12 people, we're just diving into all this chicken. The chicken comes in on the top side of the line. And I wish they would allow, you know, us to take a recording. I don't know why. I understand that they have security issues and stuff to a certain extent, but it would really help as far as PR is concerned if they want to encourage people to apply for Pilgrims, and people are visual like myself, because I'm trying my best to describe it, but I'm a visual person, and it's like, it would be better if y'all could actually see what I'm talking about, because it's hard to describe it. But if you would have saw it, it's not as hard as it looks. Like I said, it's an assortment of meat that's coming down, and you're just grabbing an assortment of meat and putting it into the packaging. And, you know, that's basically it. The machine and stuff slides down and seals it up and puts more trays down as it goes. So we did that for like, I want to say close to like 40-some minutes. It wasn't a full hour, but it was like 40-some minutes before we went on break. And then I got put in with several other people. Now, my girl that I went to work with, along with a couple other people who were not physically strong enough, like they were short and petite and all them, they went back to doing their thigh deboning and drum deboning. Now, since I'm 6 feet, and you know, I can easily lift up 200+ pounds, they put me back on breast deboning. But I'm not doing breast deboning. I guess they machine us down, because like I said, there's 2 holes in this darn on our line. And once again, I know it's hard for me to describe it. Like I said, if Pilgrims ever comes across this video, y'all definitely need to do a PR video where you go in the plant and show people, you know, how the work is done, because it's far easier to see it than me describing it. But like I said, there's a side that you're supposed to slide your discards into the trash. And then there's a hole where you put the chicken that you're gonna cut up into. And every 16 pounds worth of meat, it opens up and sends the chicken down the line. But I guess for whatever reason, their side was broke, so they have boxes that they're throwing the meat in. There's like, I would say it was like 10 of them. And I was responsible for 2. Now, she could have put me on at least 5. I felt bad for the other woman. It was a tall East African woman that were responsible for picking up the other 8. But, you know, my crew leader told me, no, you knew to this, just put 2. And I'm like, well, shoot, it ain't nothing but lifting up the thing. I don't need no learning for that. Just show me where to dump it at. So I followed the East African woman's lead. And I wish I could have got, no, second thought, I can't say their names for legal purposes anyway. But at least I wish I would have remembered their names so I could at least say a code name instead of just saying that East African woman or that West African woman. But you know, it is what it is. But anyways, we had to lift up the boxes for them. Every time they filled up the boxes, our jobs were to lift up the boxes and take it to a side of the area and dump it into this thing where it's taking the meat at. It's this little small section that's about this large, that has running water and stuff that was pushing the meat on to where it needs to go. You know, the discarded bones and all of that. Like I said, normally you supposed to be able to slide it into the hole that's right next to you, in the little running belt thing will actually push it towards that area and go down. But I noticed that the maintenance people were actually fixing that area and it was jammed up meat on the side. So I guess that's why they had us lifting up the boxes. And we did that for a little bit over an hour and a half, I believe. So 2 hours in total we did. We was lifting up boxes and putting it into the water thing to be pushed out, in addition to tray packing. But before we did the boxes, I'm going back. I know I'm jumping all over the place. Right after tray packing, after we came back from break, I believe, we also did drums. Now the difference between drums and regular tray packing is the tray packing position, you just put an assortment of meat into the container. It doesn't have to look pretty or nothing. You just grabbing any type of meat however way you want to, and you're just putting it in the tray. Boom, 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 boom. Just like that. Now with the drums, you specifically have to put in 6 drums. Now they can be any way. They don't have to be all fancy displayed or anything, as long as you got 6 drums. And she put me on the very end where I was the verifier. So everybody else's job was to put in the drums. My job was, by the time it got down to my side of the line, I am counting to make sure that there are 6 drums in every one. And each time that there wasn't, I had to pick up one to put in one. Or if there was more than 6, I had to take out one. So that was my job. So during my second day, I had 3 different job titles that I end up having to do. I think it was 3. Yeah, it was 3. I was thinking that I do thigh hanging, but that was the 3rd day. We'll get into the 3rd day in a moment. But yeah, my second day I did 3 different positions. I did my position of drum deboning, which was once again thighs that day. They didn't have no drums coming out. I did tray packing for assortment of meat. I did drum unpacking, where I had to make sure that there were 6 drums in each container. And then I did a position that I only know the name of because it was just a temporary position due to the machines being down, where I just had to lift up the boxes on behalf of the people in the breast debone department. and I was taking it to the end of the thing that was still working, because the side that the people who was working on, I guess it was not moving because of the fact that the machine was clogged up, but the other side was. So we was taking it to that side and dumping it in. Like I said, it was me and the East African woman on one side, and then there was a plus size girl and somebody else on the other side, because there's two different sides. Just like with drum deboning, there was two sides. Like I said, the first day I was on the other side where there was a West African woman right beside me, and then there was an American fellow black person beside me, but he was doing his own thing. Ironically, I couldn't reach out to him for no darn gonna help either. And then it didn't help that somebody stole his darn on glove and shit, and he accused me of stealing the glove. I'm like, huh? And then I can barely hear in the plant, and he's talking about, you remember I left my glove here and all this, that, and the third. He tried to get loud with me on the second day, and I'm looking like, okay, it ain't that serious. It's a metal glove. I'm sure they got another one up in here. It's like, it's my second day on the job. We don't take none of this shit home anyway. Who's stealing darn on metal gloves? Now the metal glove is the glove that you put on your arm, that you're not using, because you got one side that you use the wizard knife on, and just in case you holding the meat and you have to go down on the bone, you don't want to accidentally cut your hand open. So that's what the metal glove is for. So somebody took his metal glove in his blue set of gloves, and he looked at me because we are on the same side and our holders are on the same way. He assumed I took it. I don't know why. I mean, this is a plant that's valued at over $10 billion. I'm sure they got more than enough to supply to everybody. It ain't that darn on desperate out here. You ain't paying for darn. That's not one of the items that you pay for. So I was confused on why he was thinking that somebody would steal the glove. Maybe, somebody just took it out and put it in the section, because there is a section where at our breaks they put the gloves in this water to get the remnants of the chicken fat and all that off the gloves. Along with our wizard knives, we're supposed to detach it from the machine and put it in the water as well. So I guess somebody took his and he assumed that I took it. Now I'm like, so that drama. All this within the second day of the job, yeah. And I'm summarizing 8 hours worth of events within like a 40-minute video. So if you think this video is long, just think that I'm trying to summarize 8 hours worth of events, being in 1, 2, 3, 4 different job positions that same day, all within a 40-minute video. I did drum debone, assortment tray packing, drum packing, and then the temporary position of throwing the meat out, all within the course of 8 hours, from 4:30 in the afternoon to 1:30 at night. And I still managed to debone 300 pounds of thighs, all doing those 3 extra jobs as well. So if I can do that, and I'm a girl that hasn't touched chicken a day in my life before this darn position, outside of just seasoning it a little bit or putting some graham crackers on it, I've been fancy with chicken recipes. I've done breaded chicken, I've done spicy chicken, I've done ranch chicken, but as far as having to debone it and all that, I've never had to do that before. I've never done that before, and I rarely cook chicken as it is. So for me to say that I've done 318 pounds, honey, that's really saying something. And like I said, if a girl like me can do it, honey, you definitely can too, because I didn't even know what a wizard knife was before even entering that facility. And by the end of the day, I was starting to get the hang of it, where I was starting to able to take off the skin off the meat. Had to get me some water real quick, y'all. Am I the only one that reuses my Circle K containers to make sure I'm getting my full amount of water in? Also, if you're not subscribed to my main channel, the beauty channel, that will be located down below as well. I'm finally doing an updated video over on that channel for the first time in I think 2 months that I've done a video over there. I haven't been in the space of, you know, aesthetics lately, or doing any skincare videos over there, so that's why that channel's been lax. But I'm actually going to do a review on that zero water that I just brought from Walmart. That's what I'm drinking right now, is the zero water. It really does filter out and taste just like darn on bottled water. A one-time investment is now going to save me from having to buy all those bottles, because I've been buying bottled water because y'all know Fayetteville water, honey. That's a whole nother video for a whole nother day. But to get back to this topic of Pilgrim's Pride. So back on topic. Second day went by. I mastered 4 jobs pretty well. Now going into the third day. My girl pal's still out, so I'm catching another ride to work. You know, we don't know each other that well, so I can't, you know, I ain't gonna put out her business like that why she didn't make it for the second day either. But it was due to, you know, family emergencies, and I wish the best for her. We've since haven't spoke to each other since, because y'all want to see why I haven't, you know. But it's nothing bad between us. It's just due to, you know, situations of both our lives. We haven't spoken to each other since those first 2 days we traveled to work together. But the third day, honey, they go try to put your girl on thigh debone. Thigh debone didn't work out for me. There was 3 Africans. Now this time it's 3 African men. Once again, the language barrier. And this is why I said it would pay for them to have some more translators on the job. Like, if you're hiring people that barely speak the language of English, can we at least have some accurate translators on par? Like, you know, I'm the last person to judge somebody on, you know, different language barriers, being the southern country bammer that I am. I know I speak with a very distinctive accent that most foreigners can't comprehend, so I give them some leeway. However, these darn gone 3 African darn gone Nigerians were so disrespectful. Here I am trying to ask for some help. They just dismissing me and darn gone. And you know, here comes the transphobia, honey. I'm like, oh God, now I don't have time for this. Now it's already the second day. This darn gone man done accused me of stealing his darn gone glove and shit. It's like, honey, this ain't the Michael Jackson glove. This is Thriller. Thriller, baby. I said, bitch, this is a motherfucking darn gone knife protecting chicken glove that is really available at this plant. Do it look like I'm that? It's like there are about 10 of them in that darn gone container. Why do I have to specifically darn gone steal yours? Like, come on now. And then the same thing with now the gloves that now after 30 days you do have to start paying for your own gloves, I believe. So, but it's like the gloves aren't that expensive. I think maybe the gloves might be like 50 cents or something like that, maybe $1. But it's like, really, you think I stole a dollar pair of blue gloves and a darn a knife protector chain that comes free to us? Like, really? And then now, and 24 hours later, I got not 1, not 2, but the darn tri-Africans darn trying to darn shade a girl. I'm like, I don't got time for it today. Here y'all is over here, and you know, one of them was smelling worse off than the chicken. But you want darn try to throw some shade my damn way. Now, let me just say this towards Nigerians. Now, just because a bitch don't speak Nigerian, don't mean I can't comprehend certain words. Now, this the thing when it comes to homophobia and transphobia. You know, being a YouTuber for so many years, not on this channel, but my other 2 channels I've had for over 7 years. And you will learn with my background, honey, I learned over 20 different languages of homophobic rhetoric. Honey, I've been cussed out. I've been called every type of darn gone he, she, abominations and everything in multiple languages, including Nigerian. So even though I don't speak the language of Nigerian, I do pick up on certain words. So when I heard one of them say something, and then you was the most stankiest one up over there, I'm like, technically, if you want to be smart, I can report you to be I'm into HR for this darn on body odor about to knock somebody down off this motherfucking line, bitch. I would want to reach out and darn gonna slap you, but I don't want the stench to darn gonna linger on my hand, number one. And then number two, your darn odor is already off-putting enough. So when them three call themselves banning me out after, you know, not wanting to teach me how to put the thigh on the darn hanger, I said, you know what, I'm cool. Let me just stand back. They got it. I just looked deep. Cause that darn odor was darn singeing my brows off anyway. Now, granted that a girl is due for a waxing, and you know I don't like doing my own brows. As an esthetician, that was my one flaw. I cannot master brows. I can do Brazilian waxing all day long. I'm even starting to master both speed Brazilian waxing on male and female clients. But for whatever reason, the perfection of brows, I don't feel too comfortable with it. I'm very basic. I just take off just enough. I don't know how to really thin out my brows like my instructor used to do. But honey, that darn stench was doing it for me, honey. That stench was starting to singe some of it off. So when they darn call themselves talking their language, and then I heard that darn certain transphobic word come up that mouth, I said, you know what? Let me stand back. This ain't the day one. You need this job. It's $14.50 an hour, and besides, you done caught old boy here. And his ass don't get off to 1:30 anyway. You don't have nobody else out here that can pick your ass up from an hour and a half. So number one, even if you want to go off, it's on. It was very early in the day. It was like right at 5 o'clock. Like I wasn't even in the building for a half hour. So I was like, oh no, it's way too early for me to get sent on out the damn door. Honey, fortunately, the darn other team lead done came. Now this is a male. He done seen, obviously, that it was some tension and that they wasn't letting a girl darn on thigh, and nor did I want to even try to, because I tried my little best, because how much they kept pushing me, I said, bitch, I'm going to learn this today now. Now, honey, I'm going to get paid. They ain't going to dock me for just sitting here because y'all three want to be up in y'all motherfucking transphobia. Honey, I'm darn as an esthetician, I don't even want to be 2 inches I don't want to even be within 20 feet of you, let alone 2 inches of you, and you stinking like a darn muskrat. But I got to darn hold my breath up in here. Pray that I don't pass out up on this darn pile of thighs. That's a terrible way to go. Diva Wine passed out at Pilgrims on some motherfucking darn thighs because of this motherfucking BO. It wasn't because of the transphobic and the hate. It was because this darn motherfucker darn stench is peeling my brows back and darn cutting off my motherfucking airways. Now I could have been real ruthless and clapped back on that ass, but I said, Diva, just keep it quiet. So obviously they took me off, and that's when they put me on drum debone. Drum debone, I was getting the hang of it. I was just putting it up there. Now, I don't know what's the difference between the thighs and the drums. The thighs, you got to somehow be able to push that bone out and then put it on there, and it's not a color indicator of where to put the bone at. But for the drums, all the drums have a yellow skin on them, and you supposed to put the bone where the yellow skin is facing you. So the fact that the drums had that color coded on them, and you just literally plop it in, and it easily stuck, honey, that got to me faster. I was I was there for a good minute. Matter of fact, I was upset when they put me back on the damn table. Shoot, the drum debone is where it's at, or so I thought. I got a whole tragic story that I got to tell y'all about the drum debone line that happened to your girl the very next day. But as far as this day, on the third day, the drum debone is the drum hanging is where it's at. After they took me off a thigh debone, they put your girl on the drum hanging, and the drum hanging was good. And then I went back to doing my drums that day, because that day we actually had mostly drums. Drums were coming in very heavy, and we was deboning drums for like 3/4 of the day, and then thighs started coming in around 9:30 at night. Like I said, we get off at 1:30. So for the last quarter to a half of the day, we were doing drums, but we did about a little bit over 50% drums that day. In the last quarter of the day we did thighs. I checked my pounds again, and I was at 418. No, I wasn't. I was at 396 pounds inputted and 445 pounds outputted. And they will teach you about the inputs and the outputs. Like I said, for me, I'm supposed to be doing around 800 pounds as a person who is assigned drum deboning. Once again, this is my third day on the job. And on my third day, I can say I've outputted 445 pounds, which was mostly drums. Now that last quarter of the day was were thighs, but technically as a person who's assigned drum debone, I'm not required to meet the weight limit for thighs, especially if you're doing combination drums and thighs. I know it's complicated, but they would teach you about it once you are assigned that position at Pilgrims. Like I said, Pilgrims, you're supposed to be doing, I think, 1,200 pounds for thighs, 2,000 pounds for breasts, and 800 pounds for drums. So third day in, I did 445 pounds of mostly drums. So I'm over half my weight requirement working, I think, let me see, how many hours did I work that day? I want to say I was there mostly, let me see, a little over 5 hours that day. 5.5 hours I was actually on my designated shift because, like I said, I was on thighs that day. And that exchange was like a good 20 minutes of them pushing me out and then saying they transphobic rhetoric in they language, thinking a girl is American and can't speak Nigerian. Honey, I got quite a few Nigerians on my darn on YouTube channel. Honey, I pick up some words over the years. But needless to say, I ain't trying to get nothing started over at Pilgrims. It'd be my damn luck that they might come across this darn on video and try to find out who the 3 Nigerian people is I'm talking about. I ain't trying to throw nobody under the bus. It is what it is. But anyways, like I said, I was on thighs that day, thigh hanging, and then I went to drum hanging. And I think it's safe to say I was over there for a good hour and some change. I remember being over there for a good minute because I was getting into the swing of that. Like, just when I thought it was going to be made in the shade today, only thing I got to do is just put this chicken up on here. Okay, focus. Focus. Just when I thought this the only thing I had to do today, just honey, you just get you a good rhythm, and the drum hanging is where it's at. You just standing and just putting the darn on yellow towards you, and you got to make up your own song in your mind, because that's the one flaw about working a factory job on the cold side of Pilgrims. They don't allow you to have no music. Like, you can't have no you can't have no phone in the thing. You can't have no MP3. I can understand the recording device to a certain extent, but it's like they should at least allow us to have an MP3 player, and that's why I'm jealous of the live hanging. Now, my cousin is first shift live hanging, and the boy that used to sit next to me during orientation, he's second shift live hanging. I got a chance to chat with him on my third day coming in, and it turns out them asses over there, they able to darn gone listen to music and everything. Like, they can have their phones in their darn gone section. They can play their damn own music. They have their own lounge section. I'm like, now I'm a little bit jealous of this damn shit. Like, they won't even let us to have some music. Like, if I would have had some darn on music, I could have tuned them darn on Nigerian hoes out, and I could have just sat back and darn gonna let them do their job. And I might would have got paid just to sit there and watch. Or I would have been more content on that darn gone. I would have been a little bit more fast in my pace on that darn gone drum hanging if I could have listened to some darn gone Beyonce or something. But we just got to make up our own music in our mind and keep our rhythm going, you know, because you work at 8 hours doing repeated motions. So you definitely want to get your exercise in. Before I go to work, I'll plop in some Tiffany Roof's workouts, or, you know, some Kiara Lachey. I make sure to also get my Pilates in and my yoga. And I oil my body down with black seed oil, which is highly it got high amounts of omegas in it, so it's naturally anti-inflammatory, amongst other things. So my black seed oil, my shea butter, both of those help with, you know, inflammation throughout the day, because they said for us to take medication, and I'm not taking no medication. I was glad that, unlike everybody else who's popping Percocets, Oxycontin, Advil, Aleve, and all that on the plant, as per request for the nurse, honey, I'm rubbing myself down with some black seed oil and some shea butter. I don't got time for no pills. I already suffer from Crohn's disease, and I ain't trying to have nothing upsetting my darn on stomach, boo-boo. So with that being said, yeah, oil yourself down good with some, you know, anti-inflammatory oils. Make sure you get your exercise in, stay hydrated, whether it's bottled water or with me, like I said, I just got the zero filter water, and it actually tastes better than the bottled water that I've been getting. Um, and you'll be good. And like I said, you just got to make up the music in your mind while you're on the line. You just got to keep you know, moving, because you're in a rather cold facility. Now it's not as cold as, you know, other areas. I would say the temperature is like 45 degrees, whereas, you know, other sides of the plant like Saddle Pack is negative 20 degrees, and you got to have a special freezer suit on. For me, I wouldn't wear this in there, but like my regular shirts, like my South Pole shirts or something like that, that's good enough. Like I don't even need a coat really. I just need to have a thick shirt on, and that's it. It don't even have to be a long sleeve shirt. As long as it's not no flimsy thin material like this, you will be good. At least that's for me. I'm a Capricorn. I'm born in January, so my temperature is acclimated different for the cold than people who love the hot. Now, if you more so a hot baby, you might need a coat. But for somebody like me, I just need a regular shirt on, and that's about it. So those are the 3 days in a nutshell with Pilgrims. That's all the positions that I've done. I've done tray packing of assortments of meats. I've done the drums, the drum packing. I've done the drum debone, the thigh debone. I can't really say I done thigh hanging, because like I said, the Nigerians wasn't trying to teach me that, and nor was I trying to get near that darn on odor anyway. And I ain't talking about the chicken catch. But the drum debone, I mean the drum hanging, it's so many darn on names that sound similar but different positions. But the drum hanging was good. I was good over there on the drum hanging until the following day, and we'll get into that in another video. But that is it. Those are my experiences for the first 3 days of Pilgrims. Teaching me a lot within a short period of time. But surprisingly, at this point, I don't feel overwhelmed. I feel that overall, I'm getting an accurate amount of help from the people that do speak English. The English-speaking Africans and Black people and Hispanics that are there were good at helping me out. And of course, y'all know, for people who are familiar with my personal channel, I always have to have my 2 fans going, because I just have one vent in here and it does not cool down. Like I said, I'm in North Carolina. Even though it just got finished thunderstorming, the humidity is high. So I always end up having a stuffy nose on camera, because this darn on fan is right here blowing, and the fan right here. Every darn on time without fail, y'all. But that is it with Pilgrims. So far, I'm loving the company. I'm starting to meet some new people. I'm starting to learn some new languages, mostly for the good, some for the not so good, as far as the insults that that has been thrown my way, honey. But it is what it is. You know, growing up as a Southern person in the Bible Belt, honey, I'm used to it. So that ain't nothing slick to a darn gone can of oil, baby. He wasn't about to drive me up off this job because he couldn't stand all this fierce and fabulous melanated darn gone skin up against them darn gone craters and stench that he was darn gone serving. Just because you over there darn gone giving catfish teas, and I'm giving you darn gone dripped and darn gone honey and copper. Don't be hating on me, boo-boo. But I'm just going to leave it at that. But overall, despite that little, you know, incidents and the darn guy who thought I stole his glove and whatever, like it's a Michael Jackson glove as opposed to a darn a protector glove, my darn experience at Pilgrims has overall been great at this point in time. If you want to see the not so great part, subscribe, like this video, make sure the notification bell is on, and stay tuned for the next video because it's a whole different experience on day 4. So that is it, y'all. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will be back with part 4. Huh?